The reluctant human. Sarah Chen stared out the viewport of the Galactic Union Employment Office, watching alien ships of all shapes and sizes flit through the swirling nebula clouds. Her reflection ghosted in the transparent aluminum. A petite woman with short black hair and weary eyes. She'd come to this remote space station seeking adventure, but now found herself facing a future she'd never imagined. Ms. Chen. The bureaucrat's translators crackled to life. Your employment contract is ready for review. Sarah turned from the mesmerizing cosmic dance outside. The Rixian behind the desk, a being that resembled a bipedal praying mantis, tapped its 4 claws on a datapad impatiently. Right, sorry, Sarah mumbled, accepting the device. Her eyes widened as she scrolled through the document. There must be some mistake. This says my job title is human. The Rixian's antennae twitched in what Sarah had learned was their equivalent of a shrug. That is correct. The merchant vessel Stardancer has requested a human crew member. No specific skills required beyond your innate human traits. Sarah frowned. But I have an engineering degree. Surely there are more technical positions. I'm afraid not. The Rixian interrupted. Humans are still quite rare in this sector. Your mere presence is considered an asset. The salary is quite generous, as you can see. Sarah's eyes bulged at the figure. It was easily 10 times what she'd make on Earth. Still, so what exactly would I be doing? Being human. The Rixian replied simply. Your species has quite the reputation for creative problem-solving and unpredictable behavior. Many crews find it advantageous to have a human aboard, particularly when dealing with unexpected situations. Sarah knew what that meant. Pirates. The lawless fringes of explored space were rife with them. Humanity's penchant for thinking outside the box made them valuable assets in negotiations and conflict resolution. She sighed, thinking of the mountain of student debt waiting for her back on Earth. Fine. Where do I sign? An hour later, Sarah stood in the docking bay, a single duffel bag slung over her shoulder. The Stardancer loomed before her, a vessel that reminded her of a giant, mechanical manta ray. Its iridescent hull shimmered with the light of distant stars. A hatch arised open, and a lanky, blue-skinned alien emerged. She, had 4 arms and a crest of feathers atop an elongated head. Greetings, human. The alien's translator chirped. I am First Officer Zigzags. Welcome aboard the Stardancer. Sarah forced a smile. Thanks. I'm Sarah Chen. You're a professional human, I guess. Zigzags's head tilted curiously. You seem uncertain. I assure you, your presence is most welcome. Captain Dornax was most insistent on acquiring a human crew member. Right, Sarah muttered. Well, lead the way. As they entered the ship, Sarah marveled at the alien architecture. Corridors curved organically, and bioluminescent panels pulsed with soft light. Unfamiliar scents tickled her nose, spicy and sweet all at once. The crew quarters are this way, Zigzags explained, guiding Sarah through the labyrinthine passages. We've prepared a special habitat suited for human physiology. They passed aliens of various species. Some Sarah recognized from her xenobiology courses, others were complete mysteries. All of them stopped to stare at her with undisguised curiosity. Is it always going to be like this? Sarah asked, growing uncomfortable under the constant scrutiny. Zigzags's feathers ruffled. Apologies. Humans are still quite novel in this part of space. I'm sure the crew will grow accustomed to your presence in time. They arrived at a circular door, which slid open at their approach. Inside, Sarah found a small but comfortable cabin. A bed, desk, and what appeared to be a private bathroom were visible. This will be your quarters, Zigzags said. Please make yourself comfortable. Captain Dornax wishes to meet you on the bridge in 1 standard hour. With that, the first officer left Sarah alone. She sank onto the bed, head spinning. What had she gotten herself into? An hour later, Sarah stood on the bridge of the Stardancer, trying not to gawk at the impressive array of holographic displays and alien crew members. At the center of it all sat an enormous gelatinous being. Captain Dornax resembled nothing so much as a sentient blob of purple jelly, with tendrils extending to various control interfaces. "Ah, our new human has arrived." The captain's voice boomed from hidden speakers. "Welcome aboard, Sarah Chen. I trust your accommodations are satisfactory." Sarah nodded, still a bit overwhelmed. "Yes, thank you, Captain. I'm ready to begin my duties, whatever those may be." A ripple passed through the captain's gelatinous form. Laughter, perhaps. Excellent enthusiasm. "For now, simply observe. Familiarize yourself with our operations. When the time comes, your human ingenuity will prove invaluable." As if on cue, alarms began blaring throughout the bridge. Holographic displays flickered with urgent data streams. "Captain," Zigzags called out, "we're receiving a distress signal from a nearby system. It appears to be a trap laid by the Crimson Nebula pirates." The captain's form pulsed with what Sarah could only interpret as excitement. "Wonderful. A perfect opportunity for our new human to demonstrate her worth. Ms. Chen, how would you suggest we proceed?" Sarah's mouth went dry as every alien eye on the bridge turned to her expectantly. This was not what she had signed up for, and yet a small part of her thrilled at the challenge. "Well," she began hesitantly, "why don't you tell me more about these pirates?" As the captain began to explain, Sarah's mind raced. She might not have any special skills, but she was human. And right now, that seemed to be exactly what this crew needed. The adventure Sarah had sought was about to begin, whether she was ready for it or not. First contact with danger. Sarah's heart raced as she absorbed the information about the Crimson Nebula pirates. They were notorious for their cunning tactics and advanced cloaking technology, making them a scourge of this sector. "The distress signal is coming from the Helios 9 system," Zigzags reported, manipulating a holographic star chart. "It's a common trade route, but also known pirate territory." Captain Dornax's gelatinous form rippled thoughtfully. "Your assessment, Ms. Chen." Sarah took a deep breath, forcing herself to think. "It's obviously a trap, but we can't ignore a distress call. What if there are real victims this time?" "Precisely the dilemma," the captain agreed. "Your suggestion." Sarah's mind raced through possibilities. "Can we send a probe ahead? Something small enough to slip past their sensors." Zigzags's feathered crest rose in surprise. "An interesting idea. We have stealth probes, but they've never fooled the Crimson Nebula before." "What if—" Sarah paused, an idea forming. "What if we disguised it as space debris? Something so ordinary they wouldn't even think to scan it." The bridge erupted in a flurry of alien chatter, translators struggling to keep up. Captain Dornax extended a tendril, silencing the crew. "Ingenious," the captain boomed. "Zigzags, make it so." "Ms. Chen, continue." Emboldened, Sarah pressed on. "While the probe gathers intel, we should prepare for multiple scenarios. If it is a trap, we need a plan to turn the tables on them." For the next hour, Sarah found herself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. Her human perspective sparked ideas the alien crew had never considered. They prepared holoprojectors to create illusory ships, rigged cargo containers with surprises, and even devised a way to temporarily boost their shields using an unorthodox energy modulation. As they approached the Helios 9 system, tension on the bridge was palpable. The disguised probe had transmitted its data, confirming their suspicions. 3 pirate vessels lay in wait, using the system's asteroid field as cover. "They're hailing us," Zigzags announced. Captain Dornax turned to Sarah. "Ms. Chen, I believe it's time for you to truly earn your title. You will speak for us." Sarah's eyes widened. "Me? But I've never negotiated with pirates before." "Precisely," the captain replied. "Your unpredictability is our greatest asset. Trust your instincts, human." With a gulp, Sarah stepped forward as the main view screen flickered to life. The pirate captain that appeared was a fearsome sight, a cyborg creature with more machine than flesh visible. "Well, well, The pirate's voice grated through the speakers. Another fool answering our little distress call. Prepare to be boarded or be destroyed. Sarah felt a moment of panic, then a strange calm settled over her. She thought of all the old Earth movies she'd watched, the outrageous bluffs pulled off by clever heroes. A plan, crazy, reckless, and utterly human, formed in her mind. "I'm afraid that won't be possible," Sarah replied, injecting steel into her voice. "You see, we've been expecting you." The pirate captain's organic eye narrowed. "What nonsense is this?" Sarah allowed herself a small smirk. "Did you really think the Galactic Union would leave this trade route unprotected? Scan the asteroid field carefully." She nodded to Zigzags, who activated their prepared holoprojectors. Suddenly, the asteroids seemed to shimmer, revealing the ghostly outlines of a dozen heavily armed ships. The pirate's face contorted in rage and disbelief. "Impossible. Our scans detected nothing." "New cloaking technology," Sarah lied smoothly. "Now here's what's going to happen. You and your little fleet are going to power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Resist, and well." She gestured to the illusory armada surrounding them. For a tense moment, Sarah thought the bluff might fail. Then the pirate captain's shoulders slumped in defeat. "Stand down," he growled to someone off-screen. "We surrender." The view screen went dark, and the bridge of the Stardancer erupted in cheers. Captain Dornax's entire form vibrated with joy. "Magnificent," the captain exclaimed. "I've never seen anyone bluff like that. Truly, your human unpredictability is a wonder to behold." Sarah let out a shaky laugh, the adrenaline leaving her system. "Honestly, I can't believe that worked. I was terrified the whole time." Zigzags placed a reassuring hand on Sarah's shoulder. "Yet you showed no fear. Most impressive, Sarah Chen. I believe we made the right choice in bringing you aboard." As the crew prepared to actually board and secure the pirate vessels, using some of the surprises they'd hidden in the cargo containers, Sarah felt a warmth spreading through her chest. For the first time since leaving Earth, she felt like she belonged. The Stardancer's unconventional human crew member had proven her worth, and this was only the beginning. As she watched the pirate ships being tractored in, Sarah realized that her greatest adventure was just getting started. Little did she know, this encounter with the Crimson Nebula pirates was far from over. The true test of her human ingenuity was yet to come. The human touch. In the weeks following the Crimson Nebula pirate incident, Sarah found herself settling into an unexpected rhythm aboard the Stardancer. Her role as professional human turned out to be more diverse and challenging than she could have imagined. One particularly busy morning found Sarah in the ship's hydroponics bay, surrounded by a forest of alien flora. She stood before a stubborn centauran flame fruit tree, its branches drooping listlessly despite the nutrient-rich environment. "I don't understand," Clorax, the Florian botanist, burbled through his translator. His vine-like appendages gesticulated in frustration. "We've tried everything in the manual. The tree should be thriving." Sarah circled the tree thoughtfully, her mind drifting to summers spent in her grandmother's garden back on Earth. "You know," she mused, "sometimes plants back home need more than just the right soil and water. They need companionship." Clorax's leaves rustled in confusion. Companionship for a plant. With a grin, Sarah approached a nearby workbench and began tinkering with spare parts. Within minutes, she had cobbled together a crude device that emitted a soft, melodic humming. On Earth, some gardeners swear by talking to their plants or playing music, Sarah explained, placing the device near the flame fruit tree. "It's not exactly scientific, but..." To everyone's amazement, the tree's branches began to perk up almost immediately. Within hours, its leaves had regained their fiery luster. Clorax's entire body swayed in awe. "Remarkable. Who would have thought plants could respond to sound waves? We must document this immediately." As word of Sarah's unorthodox solution spread through the ship, she found herself called upon to tackle all manner of issues. From recalibrating the ship's quantum harmonizer using an old Earth tuning fork, to resolving a territorial dispute between two crew members using a modified version of rock, paper, scissors, Sarah's human perspective brought fresh insights to every challenge. One quiet evening, as Sarah sat in the ship's observation dome, gazing at unfamiliar constellations, she found herself lost in memories of home. The hiss of a door opening startled her from her reverie. "Mind if I join you?" It was Zixax, the first officer. Sarah nodded, gesturing to the empty seat beside her. For a while, they sat in companionable silence, watching distant stars streak by. "You seem melancholy," Zixax observed. "Are you not finding your role fulfilling?" Sarah sighed. "No, it's not that. It's just, sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice, leaving Earth behind." Zixax's feathers ruffled thoughtfully. "May I ask what prompted you to join us among the stars?" Sarah's mind drifted back to the day she'd made her decision. The crushing weight of student debt, the soul-crushing job market, the feeling of being trapped in a world that seemed to be falling apart. "I guess I was looking for purpose," she admitted. "Back home, I was just another face in the crowd. Here, I can make a difference." Zixax nodded. "Indeed you have. Your presence has been most catalytic." As if on cue, the ship's alert system chimed. Captain Dornax's voice reverberated through the dome. "Senior staff to the bridge. We've received a priority communication from Galactic Union headquarters." Exchanging curious glances, Sarah and Zixax hurried to the bridge. They arrived to find the captain's gelatinous form pulsing with what Sarah had learned to recognize as agitation. "Report," Zixax requested. Captain Dornax's tendrils waved dramatically. "The Crimson Nebula pirates we apprehended. They've escaped custody." A ripple of shock passed through the assembled crew. Sarah felt a knot form in her stomach. "How is that possible?" she asked. "I thought they were being held at a maximum security facility." "They had inside help," the captain explained. "And now, our sources indicate they're out for revenge. The Stardancer is their primary target." Sarah's mind raced. The pirates had seen through her bluff before. They wouldn't fall for the same trick twice. And now, they were angry. "What are our orders?" Zixax inquired. "We're to proceed with our scheduled trade route," Captain Dornax replied. "The Galactic Union doesn't want to cause a panic. We're on our own." As the crew erupted into worried discussion, Sarah felt all eyes turning to her. They were expecting another miracle, another burst of human ingenuity to save the day. But this time, Sarah wasn't sure she had the answer. The pirates were coming, and they had the element of surprise. As she stared out at the star-filled viewport, Sarah Chen realized that the greatest test of her human resilience was yet to come. Little did she know, an unexpected ally was about to emerge from within the ranks of the Stardancer's own crew, one that would challenge everything Sarah thought she knew about her place among the stars. Pirates strike back. The tension aboard the Stardancer was palpable in the days following the news of the Crimson Nebula pirates' escape. Sarah found herself working around the clock, collaborating with the crew to fortify the ship's defenses and develop contingency plans. It was during one of these late-night strategy sessions that Sarah first noticed Crix, a Volcran engineer who had always kept to himself. The insectoid alien's compound eyes seemed to follow her every move, mandibles clicking in what Sarah interpreted as agitation. "Is everything all right, Crix?" Sarah asked during a rare moment of downtime. The Volcran's antennae twitched. "You should not be here, human," Crix chittered. "Your presence endangers us all." Before Sarah could respond, Crix scuttled away, leaving her puzzled and slightly unnerved. She made a mental note to keep an eye on the reclusive engineer. 3 days later, as the Stardancer approached the Omega Nebula, a swirling maze of cosmic dust and newborn stars, the trap was sprung. Alarms blared throughout the ship as 5 Crimson Nebula vessels decloaked, surrounding them in a deadly formation. "Battle stations," Captain Dornax's voice boomed. "Evasive maneuvers." Sarah raced to the bridge, her heart pounding. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the scared face of the cyborg pirate captain she had bluffed weeks ago. "Did you really think you could fool us twice?" the pirate sneered. "Prepare to be boarded. This time, there's no escape." As the crew scrambled to respond, Sarah's mind raced. Their carefully laid plans were useless. The pirates had anticipated everything. They needed something unexpected. Something. A commotion from the engineering deck interrupted her thoughts. Zigzag's voice crackled over the comm. "Intruder alert. Someone sabotaged our main deflector array." Suddenly, everything clicked into place. "Crix," Sarah breathed. "It has to be him. He's working with the pirates." Without waiting for orders, Sarah dashed towards engineering. She arrived to find chaos. Crew members frantically trying to undo the sabotage, while fending off the first wave of pirate boarders. In the midst of it all stood Crix, a pirate weapon clutched in his mandibles. "Stay back, human," he warned. "I won't let you ruin everything." "Crix, why?" Sarah pleaded, edging closer despite the danger. "Why betray your crew?" The Vulcran's compound eyes seemed to shimmer with emotion. "You don't understand. The Crimson Nebula. They have my spawn cluster. I had no choice." Sarah's mind whirled. This changed everything. "Crix, listen to me. We can help you. But first, we need to stop this attack." For a moment, the engineer wavered. Then, with a resigned click of his mandibles, he lowered the weapon. "What do you need me to do?" What followed was a whirlwind of action. With Crix's inside knowledge and Sarah's unorthodox human thinking, they hatched a desperate plan. Using the Omega Nebula's unique properties, they reconfigured the ship's deflector array to emit a pulse that would temporarily disable the pirates' cloaking devices and weapons. As Sarah worked feverishly alongside Crix and the engineering team, she could hear the sounds of battle raging throughout the ship. The Stardancer shuddered under enemy fire, and the acrid smell of ozone filled the air from ruptured power conduits. "Almost there," Sarah muttered, her fingers flying over the alien controls. "Just a few more seconds." A massive explosion rocked the ship, nearly throwing her off her feet. Warning klaxons blared as the main lights flickered and died, leaving only the eerie glow of emergency backups. "Now or never," Sarah growled. With a final command input, she activated their jury-rigged pulse emitter. For a terrifying moment, nothing happened. Then, through the viewport, Sarah saw a ripple of energy expand outward from the Stardancer. It caught the pirate ships like a net, causing them to flicker into visibility as their systems went haywire. It worked. Crix chittered in amazement. "Quick, we must inform the captain." They raced back to the bridge, dodging debris and injured crew members. They arrived to find Captain Dornax coordinating a counterattack. "Captain," Sarah called out, "the pirates are vulnerable. This is our chance." What followed was a daring series of maneuvers that would be talked about in spaceports across the galaxy for years to come. With their enemies temporarily crippled, the Stardancer turned the tables, disabling the pirate vessels one by one. As the last pirate ship surrendered, a cheer went up from the battered but victorious crew. Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her, followed quickly by exhaustion. She slumped against a nearby console, letting out a shaky laugh. Zigzag approached, his feathers singed but his eyes bright with admiration. "Once again, Sarah Chen, your human unpredictability has saved us all." Sarah shook her head. "Not just me. It was all of us working together. Humans, aliens, even those we thought were enemies." She glanced at Crix, who stood nervously to the side. Captain Dornax's gelatinous form rippled with what Sarah now recognized as pride. "Indeed, this victory belongs to all of us, and it marks a new chapter for the Stardancer and her crew." As the adrenaline of battle faded, Sarah realized that something had fundamentally changed. She was no longer just the professional human. She had become an integral part of this strange, wonderful crew. And together, They were ready to face whatever the galaxy might throw at them next. But first, they had a Volcran spawn cluster to rescue and a band of pirates to bring to justice. Sarah Chen's adventure among the stars was far from over. Humanity's new role. The aftermath of the battle with the Crimson Nebula pirates left the Stardancer battered but unbowed. As the ship limped towards the nearest Galactic Union outpost for repairs, Sarah found herself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. The ship's mess hall had been converted into a makeshift command center. Sarah sat at a table strewn with holographic star charts and data pads, surrounded by a diverse group of alien crew members. They were planning the rescue of Crix's spawn cluster and the final takedown of the Crimson Nebula pirate organization. "The pirates' main base is here," Zixax said, highlighting a sector on the star chart. "According to Crix, that's where they're holding his offspring." Sarah nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. "We can't go in guns blazing. They'll expect that." "Agreed," rumbled Captain Dornax, his gelatinous form rippling thoughtfully. "We need something unexpected." All eyes turned to Sarah, and she felt a familiar mix of pressure and excitement. This was why she had come to space after all, to make a difference. "What if," she began slowly, "we don't attack them at all? What if we make them come to us?" Over the next few hours, Sarah outlined a plan so audacious, so quintessentially human, that it left her alien colleagues both baffled and intrigued. It involved a fake treasure map, a series of riddles broadcast on obscure frequencies, and a trap that played on the pirates' greed and overconfidence. As the plan came together, Sarah caught sight of her reflection in a nearby viewport. The woman staring back at her was a far cry from the uncertain engineer who had first stepped aboard the Stardancer. Her eyes sparkled with confidence, and there was a set to her jaw that spoke of hard-won experience. The operation to take down the Crimson Nebula and rescue Crix's spawn cluster was a masterclass in interspecies cooperation. Sarah's human creativity combined with the unique abilities of each crew member created a synergy that proved unstoppable. In the end, it wasn't firepower or advanced technology that defeated the pirates. It was a web of misdirection and psychological warfare that left them confused, divided, and ultimately vulnerable. As the Galactic Union peacekeepers took the last of the pirates into custody, Sarah stood in the Stardancer's observation dome, watching the stars. She felt a presence beside her and turned to see Zixax. "You've come a long way, Sarah Chen," the first officer said, his feathers ruffling in what she now recognized as affection. Sarah smiled. "We all have. I never imagined when I took this job that I'd end up helping to take down a pirate organization." "That's the beauty of having a human aboard," Captain Dornax's voice boomed as he entered the dome. "You bring an element of unpredictability that keeps the entire galaxy on its toes." Sarah laughed, but there was a note of wistfulness in it. "I suppose my contract is almost up. I'll be heading back to Earth soon." The captain and Zixax exchanged a look that Sarah couldn't quite interpret. "Actually," the captain began, "we've received a communication from Galactic Union headquarters. It seems our recent adventures have not gone unnoticed." Zixax continued, "They're proposing a new initiative, a program to place humans on ships throughout the fleet, not just as passive observers, but as active problem solvers and cultural liaisons." Sarah's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. "You mean, we want you to help design and lead the program," Captain Dornax finished. "Your experiences aboard the Stardancer have proven the value of human ingenuity in space. It's time to share that with the rest of the galaxy." For a moment, Sarah was speechless. She thought of the life she had left behind on Earth, the uncertainty that had driven her to the stars. Now she was being offered a chance to shape the future of human-alien relations. I'd be honored," she finally managed, her voice thick with emotion. As news of the new initiative spread throughout the ship, Sarah found herself at the center of a celebration. Crew members from a dozen different species congratulated her, each expressing excitement about the prospect of working with more humans. Even Crix, reunited with his spawn cluster, approached her. I was wrong about you. Sarah Chen, the Volcrin chittered. Humans don't endanger us. You challenge us to be better. As the party wound down, Sarah once again found herself in the observation dome. The vast expanse of space stretched out before her, filled with endless possibilities. She thought of all the other humans who might soon follow in her footsteps, bringing their unique perspectives to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Well, Earth, she murmured to herself, looks like humanity's adventure is just beginning. With a smile, Sarah turned away from the viewport and headed back to join her crew, her family among the stars. The Stardancer's engines hummed to life, ready to carry them towards new horizons and whatever challenges the universe might hold. For Sarah Chen, reluctant human no more, the greatest adventure of all was just beginning.